Hey, this is Matt again, and we're going to talk about how much does a Udemy instructor make, and this is part 2. In the first one, we figured out how much profit they make per student, and in this one, we're going to figure out how much money a Udemy instructor makes on a course. And we'll look at some real examples and get, I think, pretty close estimates to what an instructor actually makes. In theory, this should be pretty simple math. Udemy shows how many students are signed up for a course. And so we can just take the number of students times the average profit, which we figured out in the last video, which was $4.35 per student. And we do the math and we say, okay, well, 1,000 students would give us $4,350 profit for the instructor, right? Wrong. That is not correct. It looks like it should work, but it doesn't. The true formula is this. You want the number of paying students times the average profit. So that leads you to this question. Wait a minute. Some students don't pay? And the fact is that many of an instructor's students have not paid. Even on some very popular courses, a lot of those students are given free coupons. Now, the interesting thing about this, and this is a little backstory, is that free students are almost worthless. And I emphasize the word almost there. They're almost worthless because let's say that you create a coupon code for 200 free students and you post that on the web to one of those websites where you can find such coupons. Within minutes or hours, those 200 coupons would be drained. Then what you would expect to see is that 200 students would take your class, but what you would find is that of those students, you'd be lucky if even one took a small percentage of your class, and of course nobody would leave a review. The reason why is a lot of people snap up these free coupons because they're in limited supply and they know they'll go fast. Some people snap them up in order to create an account that has hundreds of free courses, which they might sell on eBay and get $100 or $200 out of. But a lot of times people will just grab these free coupons, add them to their account, and then never get around to actually taking the course because they think, well, someday I'll do it, but someday never comes. So this causes the instructor to have a huge list of unengaged students. And unengaged students are typically bad for an instructor because Udemy rates your course by its engagement. And so when you have students watching your video, then your engagement goes up. When you have students finishing, your engagement goes up. When you have students leaving reviews, your engagement goes up. And all of these things contribute to you getting ranked higher in Udemy. And so unengaged students provide almost no value. But imagine this scenario. You are a new instructor or you've just released a brand new course and you excitedly go to the Udemy search page and you search for the name of your course and there it shows up and it says 0 students, 0 stars. Well, you might say nobody's going to buy my course if there's no students and no stars. And that actually might be right. Very few people are willing to be brave enough to be the first one to try an untested course. And so what instructors will tend to do, especially new instructors, is people on Facebook and other channels will reach out to them and say, hey, make me a coupon for your course and I'll get you 200 or 500 or 1,000 or 5,000 free students. And so they say, well, if my number is greater than 0, then it's going to help me out. And so they'll give away some coupons, and as you'll see in the examples, sometimes thousands of coupons, and then again, like I said, they get drained. The problem is that because these students don't leave reviews and don't take the course, you really don't get any engagement out of them, and so they're mostly worthless. But that does help us answer this question of how many students pay, because these unengaged students don't show up on any statistic except for the student count. We can figure it out with pretty close approximation. So we take the number of reviews that a course has. We multiply that number by 7, and that will approximately equal the number of paying students. And you might say, 7, where did you come up with that number? Well, for an average course, 1 in 7 students will leave a review. Now, if a course is exceptional, if it's really good, then it might be 1 in 6 or 1 in 5. I'll show you some examples of those as we get to the demonstration. If your course is below average, then it might be 1 in 8 or 1 in 9, maybe even 1 in 10. And the reason why is some students, they prefer not to leave a negative review. Some people would say, well, instead of leaving a negative review, I'm just not going to leave a review at all. And that lowers your ratio of reviews to students. So we can figure out how much an instructor has actually profited from a course by multiplying the average profit times the average number of paying students, and this will give you an approximate total revenue from the instructor. So let's do some demos. So you see here, this is Learn to Code by Making Games, the complete C# Unity developer course. And this is created by Ben Tristram, and he is one of the highest performing, highest rated instructors on Udemy. So this is the guy you want to be like. And just to let you know, these numbers are not representative of what most people make on Udemy. We'll get to some examples like that here in a moment. But I wanted to show some of these numbers and how the ratios work. So you see here it says he has 36,173 ratings. So if we multiply that by 7, we would expect to see 253,211 students. But actually, he's only got 224,903 students. And I'm pretty sure that on this course, Ben didn't have to give out any free coupons. This is the one that he did the Kickstarter on. And so basically, people were lining up to take his class from him. So if we can assume that his student count is pretty close to accurate. And so if we'll just round up to 225,000 students, multiply that by $4.35, you'll see here that we have an expected instructor profit, an instructor revenue of about $978,000. So just shy of $1 million. And I'm going to take a bet that Ben Tristram has actually profited more than $1 million on this course, simply because he's probably had more instructor coupons used for sign up than a typical instructor would. So he's got a list of people that he can market to in Udemy already, and when he's got a new course launching, he'll send out coupon codes to all of his students. When they sign up with the coupon codes, then he'll get 97% of that revenue, and that'll boost his numbers even if he gives them a sale price. So for example, if he lists his course at the bottom dollar rate of $10, then he'll take $9.70 profit from that, which is quite a bit higher than our average profit that we calculated in the last video of $4.35. So Ben Tristram has probably made a little over $1 million on this one course alone, and he's got several others. Here's another outstanding example. This is another example of someone that you want to be like, whose results aren't typical. This is Jose Portela, and this is his Zero to Hero Python course. Again, fabulous instructor, fabulous course. This is the kind of person you want to be like. It says he's got 45,417 ratings. We multiply that by 7, and we would expect him to have about 317,000 students. He only has 242,000. That means his ratio of reviews to students is better than average. So instead of 1 to 7, he's got, like 1 to 6 or 1 to 5. So if we take his students here and multiply that by $4.35, we see that he's netted a little bit over $1 million on this course. And once again, this is not his only course. He's got a list of other courses that he's created that he markets to, and that he can send out those coupons and take 97%. So his average revenue per course could be quite a bit higher than $4.35. Maybe $7, maybe $9. It wouldn't surprise me to see it up in that range, in which case, he's made 1.5 or maybe even $2 million just on this one course. This is good. I'd love to be like this. Let's look at an example that's maybe a little bit more modest. This is Brian Tracy. I don't know anything about Brian, but I looked at his numbers and I thought they were interesting. So he has 774 ratings. Times 7, that would expect us to see about 5,418 students. In reality, he's got 7,840 students. So I'm going to take a bet that about 2,000 or maybe a little bit more than 2,000 of his students didn't pay. All right. The reason why I think that is because this is a highly rated course, 4.5 stars, which means that he's probably not underperforming. So if we say, let's round up to 5,500 students, multiply that by $4.35, I would estimate that Brian Tracy has profited about $24,000 on this course. So that is not bad. I think that also is a little higher than average for a course on Udemy. So this is a good goal to aim for, but your average Udemy instructor probably is not making this per course. But maybe it is. All right, this one is my course. And so I don't mind using my own course as an example. And the nice thing about this is because I know what my actual numbers are, then I can tell you that that these numbers are a little off. And I've got some theories on why. But it says here I've got 21 ratings times 7 means that I would expect to see 147 students. but how many do I have? 1,184 students. So that is a good 1,000 students more than we would calculate. And that is true because I did give out 1,000 free coupons to my course. Actually a tiny bit more than 1,000. So we can calculate from, let's just round up to 150 times $4.35. That would estimate that I've made $652.50 off my course. I happen to know that number is a little on the low side, but it's in the ballpark, and so you can use this to verify the numbers. By the way, this is an example of a course where 4.3 doesn't sound like a bad rating, but it is actually a little below the targets. And the reason why is, when I first launched it, it needed a little work. It was a little underperforming. And because I do usability testing and user research, I went and got feedback, and I found that I could make my course better, and I have. And since then, my ratings have gone up. But yes, my ratio, at least for initial, is not as good as 1.1 to 7 in the ratings to student ratio. Let's do another example. This is Chris Parker. He's got this Photoshop CC 2018 Master class. And he's got a lot of classes, so he knows what he's doing. So it says here he's got 221 ratings. Times 7 would mean that we would expect to see about 1,500 students. But he has 5,500 students. So that means he's got about 4,000 more students than we would expect from his ratio, especially considering the high rating that he's got of 4.7. So let's just say that he's probably got about 1,600 students. Multiply that by $4.35, and we would expect him to have made about $7,000 on this course. Considering this course just launched in 2018, that is darn good. No complaints there. Even if he did pad his student numbers a little bit, no criticism from me. He's making good money on this. I think that a course making about $6,000 to $7,000 a year would probably be more in line with what a decent course on Udemy is going to do, just to set your expectations more realistically. So that leads to this question: can you make a living on Udemy? And I'll just tell you right out, I am not currently at that level, but I know some people that have, and I've got some strategies that I am working on based upon the people that I know, and I would be happy to share them with you in the next video. So if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, do so. By the way, in the comments below, I'm going to create a link to my course with a coupon code. So if you want to sign up for a usability testing class and help me get 97%, please do so. I'm also going to put links to these other instructor courses in here because I really want you to take a look at these other instructors and take their classes. You know, get a good sale price. You know, get the $11.99 or $12.99 sale price. Sign up for them. Or even maybe ask the instructor if they would give you a discount, because if you ask them nicely, they might send you a $10 coupon, and then they'll take the 97%, which is great. So sometimes instructors are willing to do that. I will link to their courses. You should definitely take them so that you can see the magic formula that makes a difference between an okay course and an excellent course. All right, thank you. See you next time.